16 head of cattle were stolen in Blackfoot earlier this week. These two men, Anselmo and Valentin Lopez, were arrested for stealing the $19,000 worth of cattle. Those cows were recovered thanks to the assistance of the Idaho brand inspectors. Eyewitness News reporter Hannah Miller learned more about branding and the close and important relationship ranchers have with inspectors.
There are three types of identification for livestock: hot brands, freeze brands, and tattoos. Brand inspections are needed anytime you leave the state or are selling livestock.
A brand inspection is your title to these livestock. You wouldn't pay somebody for a vehicle without them giving you a title to it.
In the Midwest, herds are usually only 60 to 70 head of cattle, and they don't normally leave the homestead. In Idaho, cattle are put out for range.
Here we're going to go to public range, we're going to go to state lands or BLM, big acreages that require some type of identification that at the end of the day, when you start gathering those cattle up in the fall, you're able to identify whose is whose and where do they belong. It's a necessary evil in the size of landscape that we deal with rather than the landscape that the Midwest deals with.
Not only to determine which ranch a calf belongs to, it's a protection for ranchers.
Our role is to identify the livestock and make sure the people that are selling them can prove that they own them.
Not necessarily that the brand inspector knows exactly where our cattle are on a day-to-day basis, but that he knows that our brands relate to our cattle, and if they show up at the livestock yards with somebody else, that he goes back and does the research to say whether or not those cattle were actually purchased from us.
We go out, we visually inspect each animal for brands, and the person that's in possession of livestock must provide proof that they own it. A brand is prima facie proof of ownership in Idaho.
Why do you enjoy cattle ranching?
That's tough. That's tough. I'm 4 generations, Seth is 5. What do you do with it? Is it something that because you're born into it, you're obligated to it, or is it something that you have the opportunity to continue if you choose to? At the end of the day, it ends up being a family deal.
In Blackfoot, I'm Hannah Miller.
Brand inspectors tell us if you are out on open range and notice suspicious activity, notify them immediately.